What's up guys, Again Dragon here, and for today's video, I figured I would give it a little break of doing gameplay and a lot of commentating about the weapons of Payday 2, and I figure I should show you guys, I guess you could say, my photo album, or mostly my screenshots I take during Payday 2, or basically of 2 years of Payday 2, which I took a few more screenshots in 2019. And I have to say, these are probably the best ones. These are like, of course, there's like glitches, WTF, shits and giggles moments, which happens to me and also to my friends. So I figure I would go over a few that really did caught my eye and, well, show the magic of Payday 2. And here's the first screenshot. Is basically, I have the RPK out, and you may notice I have my hand on the back, basically on the upper receiver, like if I was mounting on a bipod, and you can see I have the bipod already folded out, so I don't have it deployed, and I was able to move around with it. I'm not sure how I even got it in the first place, but able to do that looks pretty weird, and it feels like I even hold the RPK with one gun, or hold it with one hand, which is really ridiculous. I mean, could you imagine having akimboed LMGs? Like, seriously, like the M60, the M249 SAW, or hell, even the MG42. Could you imagine those things to be akimboed? You'll be a freaking war machine if you can able to do that. Of course, here's the second picture of the biker heist, and very terrible way to go out for the biker chick, where I did shoot her a bit with the rocket launcher, and then her corpse somehow fly right into the metal cage, well, with her lower body part basically sticking out from the back. Pretty gruesome way to die, but I'm pretty sure the explosion killed her lifeless body before being impaled by the cage itself, like a grater. Yes, this was outside the map of the train heist, and I did it by doing a little trick by pausing and sprinting at the same time, where they did update it where every time it only works offline, and it's every time you go for a sprint, and especially if you do it at a slope, especially like at a ramp, just like you do it like in like a dirt bike or a ski jet. You just go up a ramp and you get like very high speed and momentum. Well, I use the same thing. It's the same gimmick here. I just pause it every way, and it keeps my momentum going, and I was able to fly through outside on most maps that has this, and it's really fun to explore around. Sadly, they patched this, so anytime you play offline and you try to build momentum, if you do it in the air and then you pause, but then you unpause, all that momentum will be gone, and you just drop dead, basically fall down to ground flat, just like gravity works with Wile E. Coyote. So this is a little text called "Lucy was here," and of course this is one of the map designers for Payday 2. I believe that's one of the people that actually worked on this map, and I guess to give a little Easter egg, we're supposed to able to do with the whole no clip thing, and try and find a little Easter eggs like this, and how me doing it on console felt really satisfying to do. And it's sad they patch it, because with this glitch you can't really win the heist if you don't do the objectives, and you can't even do it online either, because you can't really pause the game like this. There's no server pause. Of course, here's me doing the same trick, do the pause trick, and playing outside of Hoxton's Revenge. So you can definitely see I dominate a blue cop outside the map, and this is of course looking at the FBI safe house. Looks really, actually looks pretty cool. And of course, when I was running around and exploring much of the heist, I found this eagle symbol, and it looks like a bridge which you can able to. I think it's either a solid wall or it's just you can clip right through it. But the textures looks something I definitely see, almost like textures I do see from a classic PS1 Tomb Raider game, or mostly a PS1 graphic that I would see something like this. I'm not sure what this means. I don't think it's any type of Easter egg. I just find it looks really odd to be put here and not seen anywhere in the other maps. Of course, here's the, well, a little more exploration with the train heist, and it's, it's really cool. I really wish there was a vantage point for this heist. I mean, you could able to. Can you imagine this able to have a vantage point? You have a high accurate weapon or a sniper rifle, and you can able to snipe the snipers in this spot. You can able to snipe all of them in just in one sitting. You can able to snipe the snipers in the well, the sawmill and the roof of the lumber yard. Snipe them from the rocks. Of course, the rocks straight ahead, and some on the right side, and even some coming right behind you where I would be. It looks pretty amazing too, and I do have to say, Train Heist has probably one of the best sceneries in terms of the looks of the map. I love how it takes place in the middle of in the woods, which normally you don't see much in Payday 2, but I do love it, and I really wish there was more of these type of heists. Hopefully, in the future heists later on, we'll have it. But considering that they're in San Francisco, there's not really much trees, so I hope they have plans for it maybe in the future. But only time will tell. Okay, so here's the few pictures when I'm looking at the basically one of the spawn areas in Train Heist, and this is part of the boat escape. And you can see there's lots of water, and you can see some of the rocks and the trees are just floating. Of course, they don't really add much of the objects or the textures there. Of course, they probably would never see it by a actual legit player's eye when playing in the inside of the map. And here is the outside. Well, I mean not the outside, but the opposite side. And this is where usually the boat will come in. And by looking at the scenery, it reminds me of my trip I had with doing like a trip for doing like for exams, where I did experience have some outdoor experience for a week. So I had to, of course, when we get there, we had to actually travel it by canoe. So we had to cross the river with a canoe. It was fun, and then of course we had the canoe back once it's time to go home. And of course, it was doing my outdoor experience with my classmates as well with two of my other friends as well. So it was really fun to do, and I hope I can experience that again one day. Maybe a few years, maybe about next year. Who knows? Maybe with a paddle boat. Alright, just a quick picture, and of course, close enough for a sniper. Yep, I can able to get close to a sniper in Train Heist. So I guess this is one of the possibilities to get achievement to melee a sniper, except it's patch. And it only works, I forgot to mention this, but it only works if you have the game set in 30 frames per second. But in Crime Wave Edition, the game is locked to 30 frames per second, which I don't know why they did it, because on the PS3 and Xbox 360, the game's frame rate is at 60. And yet this is more on a more powerful hardware, it is 30 frames. Like, what? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm I have really no problems with the 30 frames per second because I got used to it. But I know having higher up is a lot better. But I think due to the years I've been playing Payday 2, I've kind of got used to the 30 frames. But of course, it all depends on the appearances or the performances. Alright, here's the fire starter, well, day one, where I was placing the medic bags on top of the hangars. And bear in mind where I'm actually standing. I'm actually standing on top of the warehouse that you can only get to by using the advantage points asset. And I was able to get there over there by simply doing the well, the whole pause trick, and I was able to place them there. It was pretty cool. I really wish there was like another vantage point asset to not only to go for this hangar, but also for these ones as well. And I really think this would make it a lot more cooler, dramatic, and especially a more stealthy approach if you wanted to challenge us even more for day one. And it would be nice to have too, but that way you can actually get behind the warehouse, much more safe too. Especially that you can't open the gate on the left side, if you can see it in the photo. It will be kind of nice. Well, here's another picture I have with the Dr. Bag. You can see the outline is basically in the barn on the balcony. I had to do some little parkour inside the building to be able to place it there, but it was pretty fun. It's nice to explore out the woods too. Uh, it felt really different. Of course, here's the well, basically looking at a sniper's view in Boiling Point, where this is usually one of the spots where the snipers would actually peek and try to take out the heisters when they were exiting the laboratory. And it kind of feels a little more, kind of cool to see a different, different view from this height or from this level. It looks pretty amazing. And of course, I have a few more. Here is the, well, here's a little tunnel that's outside the map in Boiling Point. And of course, if I try to go inside, I will just fall out of the map, and I think I would have been teleported and got bleed out, or I would just fall infinite of bottomless fall, basically. So of course I did not want to enter it at all. And here's a much well, a more closer view of the Russian sniper, and he is using a Dragunov. And funny enough, the in Boiling Point, they actually have the Dragunov in the game with this, and before even the actual Dragunov sniper rifle was available to the player, which was, this map was made in 2016, while the Dragunov was added to the player in 2017, so basically a year later. It's kind of the same story with the UMP-45, where the Gensec League and Murky Water had that in 2014, but until we got it for the hands of the player in 2016. Which is also another weapon that we didn't have this until, the Dragunov was in, but that was even before we even had the UMP-45, which is crazy. And I like you can see the laser is the tactical laser module, and is a red laser too. I like how it's pointed right on the barrel and not really close to the handguard too. And it looked pretty cool to see the snipers up close. Of course, here is the medic bag for, well, being on top of the first wall bank. I always like to go up there on that spot by jumping up the flagpole and do like a jump, sprint jump, and then crouch to be able to get up there with no problem. And well, I'll show you for now would be of of course, here's the, well, the picture here is a visual glitch, and you may notice I'm rocking the Stoic perk deck. And you may notice I have armored on with the hip flask. And this is, bear in mind, this is a fully decked out Stoic. I never even experienced with a level 2 Stoic perk deck. I have never even tried it at all. And I don't think I'm ever gonna have it, ever. On both console and PC. But the fact that I have armor is ridiculous. It would be nuts if you can have armor and have all the level 9 the Stoic perk deck of a 9v9 perk deck. It would have been crazy if you think about it. This will probably be a little bit more effective, but a little bit too strong. So I don't remember if I do get health loss while my armor's still up. I mean, if it's the case, then yeah, then it's a visual bug. It's the first time I see this, and I could never replicate it again. I'm not sure how I did it. Maybe it's because when I joined the game somehow, due to desync, I'm not so sure. But yeah, that is kind of weird. But yeah, well, that's gonna be it for now, guys. I will promise that we'll get more into the juicy stuff later. So, well, thank you for, well, watching all my photos. I will definitely have more. Until next time, farewell, and have a wonderful day, everyone.